G'day my fellow media collectors and welcome to the Comic Book Movie Collector's Guide. I'm your host Troy and this is your show about collecting all things superhero cinema. And today we're going to review The Haunted World of El Superbeasto on DVD. And we're going to try and answer the question, was this just boobs, violence and zombies? Oof, what do you say we check it out?
The Hall of Justice, the Super Friends.
The Haunted World of El Superbeasto is an adult animated superhero movie with a runtime of 77 minutes. The film had a limited theatrical release in the United States on the 12th of September 2009 and was later released on DVD and Blu-ray on the 22nd of September 2009, with no 4K HD release as of this video. The script was written by Tom Papa and Rob Zombie, based off the original comic book by Rob Zombie, with it directed by Rob Zombie. The film was produced by Film Roman and Starz Media, with it distributed by Anchor Bay Entertainment. In an interview, Rob Zombie said that the film was meant to be a $500,000 direct-to-video movie that expanded into a $10 million animated extravaganza. Okay, if we look at the case, as you can see, there's not a lot to it actually. It's very basic, but it's kind of got that horror vibe theme to it, I feel. And if we look at the spine, that actually does stick out on your shelf, surprisingly. It's never too hard to find when you're looking for it. Now on the back, I don't know, you kind of get some weird vibes. So you've got the zombie army, you've got him wrestling, and then you've got his sister there as well, dressed up as a spy. It kind of gives you a lot of mixed vibes. You really don't know what's going on with this flick, but we'll get into that later. Okay, and the disc, well, it's a color disc, bonus. It's just the cover, nothing special. But at least it's a color disc, and that was always a good thing. Overall, like, I mean, look at that. That is pretty average. Like, it's just a shot of them all just put together. I reckon I could have knocked that up in 5 minutes on Photoshop. It looks very basic. So, there's a German version that's probably just flicked up past here. It's nice, vibrant colors and stuff. That looks like it's got a bit more effort put into it. And I'd probably prefer to buy that one if I was looking for one. Anyway, for that, because of how plain it is, I'm only going to give this a 4 out of 10. So, the movie introduces us to El Superbeasto, a masked wrestler and superhero who falls for a stripper known as Velvet Von Black. But she becomes kidnapped by an evil Dr. Satan who wants to marry her as she has the mark of the devil on her backside, which once he marries her, he will gain the powers of Satan himself. And it's up to El Superbeasto and his super agent sister Suzi-X to prevent a Dr. Satan's plans from world domination.
Really evil, like so evil that you would say it was evil.
Okay, so look, it took me a little while to fluff that intro out a bit, as the story is so simple. It has no substance whatsoever. And look, in a nutshell, this is it. You ready? El Superbeasto sees a stripper that he wants to bone, but he has to save her from a bad guy before he can. Done. That's it. No subplots, no character development, no intriguing story arcs, nothing. The most boring and mundane story I have ever had the misfortune of watching. It looks like it had next to no effort put into it story-wise, and the script was, oh god, very juvenile and very weak, with some very tired jokes and pop culture references that fell flat time after time after time.
It's just failure after failure.
Look, if I didn't know Rob Zombie had done this, I would have thought, or I would have probably said to you, a horny teenage boy made this movie with all the overt nudity and sexualization of women just to jerk off to. I mean, God, actually, yeah, there is even a song in the movie about doing just that, jerking off to this movie.
I jerk off quite a lot.
For me, this seemed like it was just filled chock full of nudity and violence to cover up for the fact there was little to no substance to this story. And for that, look, I am going to give this the horrendous score of 2 out of 30. Now, this film is an adaptation of a Rob Zombie comic book, also titled The Haunted World of El Superbeasto, which from what I have read is a pretty close adaptation, with just a couple of bits missing or changed overall, but a pretty faithful adaptation nonetheless from all accounts that I've read online. And look, I'll be telling you right now, I will not be bothering with that comic book myself. As far as the characters go in this movie, most of them are just one-dimensional at best characters, like with no real substance. And as far as like our titular character, for instance, El Superbeasto, he's supposed to be this super famous, full of himself, overconfident hero that's a bit kind of clueless as well. And I get the impression he was kind of like for me, I suppose it was kind of like a Johnny Bravo character in a way, but instead of El Superbeasto coming off as like this like cool guy, he come off as this really obnoxious dick of a character with no redeeming features, which, look, made him really hard to like.
I just didn't like him at all. He bugged me, actually.
Now, look, the animation was serviceable for the content it was trying to put out, but I couldn't get past the fact that it just reeked of like a cheap version of Ren and Stimpy. It was almost like it was trying to emulate that style, you know, even in like just not just the animation, but even in the humor in more of an adult way. But for me, it just felt very short, as I've been a long time Ren and Stimpy fan and it wasn't even close.
A knockoff, a cheap imitation.
Look, I will have the list of the voice actors up here, and for a Rob Zombie movie, you'll see a lot of this sort of the familiar faces now that he usually has in his cast. And I can only put up a few, as there is a shit ton of guest appearances here, but I'll just put the main offenders up. Now, do I think any of them put in a good performance? Well, I have to say Rosario Dawson as Velvet Von Black, she was great, but then she's great in everything she does. And Tom Kenny as Otto, Dr. Satan's ape assistant, was pretty good as well. But everyone else didn't impress me, let's just say. So look, with all of that in consideration, best I can do is probably maybe a 5 out of 20. So look, we do have a couple of special features right there, and they include alternate scenes and some deleted scenes and shorts, which there are plenty of, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of the same stuff though over and over again, and I think there would be at least, God, it'd be up around the 40 mark, and a lot of them were just small short clips. Like for instance, a lot of it was just like, say you would have one scene in the movie that say went for 8 seconds, they'll show you the other 3 seconds that got cut from the movie. Just a whole heap of that sort of stuff, which none of it added any extra context to the movie and really got boring really quick. Look, is there features? Yes. Are they special? No. Not a great addition. So for that, even though it does have some, look, I'm only going to give it a 2 out of 10. Now, the critic score came in at 40%, and the audience score was, wow, 48%. Look, for me, I feel like this is a great representation of this movie, as it's very much a you love it or you hate it kind of movie. And look, it's pretty clear by now which side on the fence I'm on. Anyway, of all the reviewers who gave it a great rating, I like this one here. Oh my God, he makes it out to be some sort of bloody masterpiece written by William Shakespeare. Like, I must be missing something here. I really am, because some of the reviews are ridiculous, but some of the bad ones, I have to admit, they were worse than what I'm roasting it for. I'll tell you that right now. So look, overall, if we round it out, we're going to get a score of 5 out of 10. So yep, not a fan of this piece of garbage. And the reason I thought I would give this a view is that I'm actually a fan of Rob Zombie, the musician, and I love his music. And I haven't seen any of his films yet, as, look, I'm not a horror guy, I don't like horror movies. And he pretty much just does horror movies. So I thought at least I could give this a view and see what it's like. Now, look, after what I've watched, if all of his horror movies are like this, then I'm glad I have not seen one of them. Look, it kind of feels like, I feel like I've been robbed of 77 minutes of my life. I really do, and I really want it back. Oh, hi, yeah, I was wondering if I could get a credit on my time, please? Oh, no worries, mate. Do you have a receipt? Oh, yeah, I do. It's for 77 minutes if I can. Okay, and what do you need a credit on this time for, mate? Oh, it's because I watched The Haunted World of El Superbeasto, the movie. Oh, you poor bastard, really? Okay, no worries. Look, I'll rush that through for you. Look, we'll have your time credit to you in probably the next 2 to 3 business days. Oh, sweet. Thanks, mate. I do appreciate it. Catch ya. No worries all, mate. We'll catch you later. Oh, poor bastard. I can only imagine what he went through. Oh, jeez. Look, I was hoping it was at least going to be entertaining, at minimum. But, which has been the case lately for some of what I've been watching, it really has been disappointed! Thanks again, Herc. You've been really getting to work out lately. Now, look, with all of that, this is the best I can do, and I'm going to give this a 4 out of 20. So, first up is collectability, and if you look on the collector scale here, I would say this would be for really your completist collector. That's it. I could not, in good faith, recommend this to anyone to add this to their collection. Now, as far as availability goes, this one is probably more on your common side of things, as you may not be able to find it in your usual retail outlets still, but my God, there is no shortage of copies out there of both DVD and Blu-ray on your second-hand markets like eBay. Now, as far as your average price goes, you are kind of looking somewhere between the $12 to $35 mark for a DVD, and if you're looking for a Blu-ray, you're looking at somewhere between $22 to $58, which kind of shows that both DVD and Blu-ray vary a lot in price, so really shop around if you are going to buy a copy. And of course, there is nothing for 4K HD as of this video. Now, for the final score, we get a grand total of... Ooh, 22 out of 100. Eesh. There is the wah-wah sound. Ooh. But look, that is well deserved in my opinion. A terrible score for a terrible movie. So look, we asked the question, is this just boobs, violence, and zombies? Yep, that's all this bloody thing was. So look, no surprise. This is a great example that you can't replace substance with, yes, boobs, violence, and zombies.
They're not just zombies, they're Nazi zombies.
So, if you like this video, I've got some more reviews for you right there. Or maybe you want to see some of my collection updates. Got you covered too. Why don't you click that one there? And of course, don't forget to do the most important thing. Throw me a bat like. Don't forget to hit that subscription button on the way out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.